Hi everyone, my name is Samantha and I'm known here on YouTube as the Hygge Stitcher. Welcome to my channel. I have a lot to share with you in this episode. I hope that you are comfortable in your spot, you're stitching, and you're looking for some great company. I have a ton to share. Over the last couple months, I have been enjoying Flosstube and I've been stitching a lot. And now I'm back filming again and sharing all of my works in progress with you all. I have new starts. I have a really incredible, a couple of viewers who have reached out to me who have passed along their collection of charts. I have many to share with you today, and this part's really exciting. I can't wait to share all of the new charts that have been added to my collection. So that's going to be fun. And also I have a giveaway that I need to do today. And yeah, I wanted to start off with talking about book days, because have you all seen the new cover for Book of Days 2025? I believe that these are now, shops are starting to place orders for them, so you can look for it. I'm going to insert a picture of what the new 2025 looks like. Very excited to get my hands on one of those. If you've been following my channel, you know I have for the past 3 years I have started to collect these books. I have started to document everything that I've been stitching on. And I've enjoyed that process very much, being able to go back and see when I started certain projects and to, see how long they're taking me to stitch, all the things. So that's been a lot of fun. And then I sticker, I use a couple of sticker books to, to create Halloween. We're doing some Halloween stitching. Or, for the month of November, I haven't decorated my full page yet, but I've started with a few stickers. And you'll see I just plunk in what I've been working on that day. I typically am a type of stitcher who I like to get out a project, put it on the Q-snap, put it on my stand, and I usually will stitch on that for about a week. Sometimes 3 days, sometimes 7 days, depending on what my goals are for that stitch. So I'm going to start off with a new start. This was my planned new start for November. I have kind of gone through my collection, sort of halfway through the year. I had made a plan for myself. These are the patterns that I want to stitch this year, and I started to collect what I needed for them. And this is one of the ones that I had planned for November. This is lavender and lace. I believe it's called Firefly Fairies. I love this chart. So when I opened this up for the first time, there were some instructions in the chart that would show you, how to get this cool effect on your fabric. So there's a whole technique you can do. I believe it's you buy a fabric and you would use bleach and to create that starburst in the center of your fabric. Very cool. And I follow a really amazing stitcher on YouTube, Lori the Sharky Stitcher. She recently this year started this chart and she attempted to bleach her own fabric and she did an amazing job. Very, very cool. She's got to start on the project. I'm excited for her, and I'm also excited to be stitching on this myself so that I can follow along her progress together. That's really, really special. I purchased my fabric. I purchased my fabric from Oak Crown Studios, and this is a fabric by Amy, Fiber Arts Amy on YouTube. She started a company called Oak Crown Studios, and she created this fabric called Firefly, and the inspiration came from this chart. I'm so excited to share it with you. Check it out. So the color on this is absolutely amazing. What you're getting from this is the dark navy blue, some purple, and it just sort of changes from navy blue to light blue. And then in the center, how she's dyed it, she didn't use bleach in her process, but she did a really unique way of getting that starburst effect right in the center of the fabric. And I really love how you can see a little pop of pink in the center too. So when I was trying to figure out where to start in this chart, you kind of want to have where the wand, and because there's 3 ladies, 3 fairies, fairy godmothers, and they all have a wand, and you kind of want to place it in a spot where it's going to look like it's beaming light. And I decided to go right into the center of the stitch and the design, you kind of get this really cool, on the back of the chart, you can photocopy and cut out and sort of place on your fabric to kind of get a visual, if you're using a 32 count, where your fairies would go, which is really, really cool. And I played around with that a little bit, and I sort of went back and forth, like, should I have the fabric right side up, upside down, you know, kind of played with it a few times, which way I wanted to go, and this is where I landed. I think it's going to be incredible. And I've started some stitching. I started on the pink and red fairy, Firefly fairy, and put some stitching in. This was so fun. The first thing I did was, you know, do her arm and get her hand in there, and I wanted to get her wand just to see where the placement would go. And this side here will be the blue fairy, and she has a wand that's right about here. And then the green fairy, her wand will be up right around here. Right up around here. So it's gonna look really, really cool. What do you think of this fabric that Amy dyed? I think it's incredible. I cannot wait. I might, you know, stop on this fairy and get the other wand in and start the green fairy or the blue one in, just to get those 3 different colors going, and then I can see where the wands land, and then also work on whichever one I want to work on when I'm feeling inspired to stitch on this piece. This is so exciting. This is the coolest fabric I own. This is the coolest project I'm stitching right now, I think. I have a lot of beautiful projects, but this one, just like, this is something I've never done anything like this, used a fabric like this. And I haven't stitched many lavender and lace. I've only done one, I believe. And I've just recently started to collect lavender and lace charts, and I have many here to show with you today, later on in the video. But yeah, this is gonna be incredible. Oh, I can't wait to get some more color in that. So this is Firefly Fairies from Lavender and Lace, my November start. How exciting. Okay, some more stitching that I've worked on. This was a project I started this summer. This is Owl Forest Embroidery, 100 owls. I kitted this up this year, gave it a start. This is a free chart that you can download. I downloaded it from Owl Forest Embroidery and printed off the chart. It was a stitch along a few years ago, and many people have stitched this chart. I mean, who doesn't want to stitch 100 owls? This is gonna be so cool. And they're all so different. Like, yeah, there's a few that are like little ones that are like, you're gonna stitch it a few times. But for the most part, it's an exciting chart. There's lots of variety and different types of owls to stitch in this pattern. And when I first started it, I had started in the corner over here and stitched a little bit, you know, started a stretch across. And what I want to do is get to a point where I'm sort of like where the stitch along, how it runs, because when you print off the chart, it gives you like page 1, you know, stitch this part. And the first page is this owl here, the large one. And then this, I believe, is number 2, and these are more like 3 and 4 and 5 kind of thing. And because I had started in the corner, I'm sort of want to get to a point where I'm like, okay, back to number 1, back to number 2, and get myself to a point where I start moving along, sort of like how the stitch along was created. This is where I am so far. So like I said, I started here, moved across, I had stitched this, and last time you saw it, I had stitched this owl. And this was a page that, you know, both of the owls were complete in it, so that's what I did. I caught myself up to that point. Aren't they incredible? Oh, they're so cute. I love their faces, the colors in their wings. And my goal for the next time I pick this up is to go to part number 1 and do the jumbo owl in the center, because now I'm at the place where I can go off of these 2 owls here, count down, and stitch it. That's gonna be fun to do. So you'll see me periodically pick up this chart. I have a couple other, I've been working on Treasure Island, which was a stitch along by Owl Forest Embroidery, and I have Emerald City that's coming very close to an end as well. So I like having, you know, a few of these on the go, and I'm really hoping that a new stitch along starts in 2025. That's something I'm going to want to jump on. Yeah, so we'll see what comes out, but I'm hoping for another like Treasure Island type, you know, Alice in Wonderland, like those kind of storybook stitches. That's what I'm really hoping for. But in the meantime, I have 100 owls to get going on. It's really fun. Like I said, these are all free from Owl Forest Embroidery that you can download and you can stitch. They have flosses, like floss packs that you can order, but they always give a DMC conversion as well. And there are many talented stitchers out there who like to go to a Stitchy store. They have one in their area that they can go to and pull colors like variegated flosses and kit up their own unique, you know, floss that they could use if they don't want to place an order through Owl Forest Embroidery. There's ways to get around to create that really cool, you know, variegated effect. There's lots of different dyers out there. And I believe Sarah, Lady Lugana, she kitted up these, I believe, did she use Roxy Floss Co? I think she did. That would be really fun as well. Okay, another new start. This one was not planned. This was something that my girlfriend Erica, Fibers and Floss Canada, had gifted me for my birthday. And it had everything in it, all the floss, all the beads, the needle, the fabric, everything you would need to stitch this up. And when we were together this summer, she had brought some fabric with her, and you know, I was kind of feeling like, oh, I'm not sure if I want to stitch this on the Ada. I might want to stitch it to a Lugana. And she was like, hold on, wait a minute, I think I have a fabric that would be perfect for this. It is a 32 count Silver Moon Lugana that she had gifted to me, and I gave this a start. Here's all the beautiful colors. Let me show you. The way that it's a Design Works kit, and inside the kit came a floss card so that you could organize all of your floss. And there are some amazing colors in here as I unroll it for you so you can see. There's a lot of like icy blue type colors, but there's also these amazing purples and white and a couple of pops of red. And what we had done is placed these colors on the fabric, and they're incredible. So I'll show you my start. Here we go. I started right in the middle. This is a Joan Elliott kit design, which I'm just starting to get into. I'm just starting to get into Joan Elliott, and this is my second start. I have a Santa on the go, and now I have Ice Fairy. So kind of a perfect time of year to start this, as we are getting into, you know, the first snowfall and that sort of thing, and thinking about the holidays coming up soon. It's a time that we can, get out this type of stitching. Super fun. Do you do that too, where it's certain times a year you bring out your stitching that is like the mood of, you know, snow and ice, or, you know, Halloween? Are you a seasonal stitcher? I tend to gravitate to that and have summer stitches and spring stitches and holiday stitches. This was really, really fun to do. I love the way that Joan Elliott charts. It's very similar to Nora Corbett, but almost simpler. You will find in the chart, you will find a color and sort of stitch your way down. So you don't have to do a lot of color changes, but when you do, it's like you get to stitch for a little while. So I had stitched these beautiful ribbons, and you can see the different colors in the chart. So there's the blues, the teal, there's the purple. And I haven't done any of the white stitching. See how her dress is sort of changes? You've got the purple dress, and then there's almost this over top fabric here. I haven't started that yet. I think I might do that next. Or I might do her skin and get her arms in. That looks fun to stitch too. The wings look very simple to do. It's more like you stitch a lot and not a lot of color changes, but you do get these back stitching in the sparkly floss to give it the fairy look. And there's like a globe here that has, it looks like a castle inside, the sort of like a snow globe. Oh, this is so good. And check out these cute little animals at the bottom. There's a bunny rabbit, a couple of them there. That's so cute. And there's a little bird. Hard to see, but there's a little bird right there. And throughout the design, there is some sparkly floss that is, I've actually put into the stitch a tiny little bit of it right at the top here. There's some sparkly floss there. I believe it was an anchor metallic. What I do when I use, you know, DMC or anchor floss like that, the metallics, is I use a small length. You know, you don't want to get a nice big, because it'll kink up and get twisted. Keep it nice and short, stitch what you need, carry on. That's sort of my advice on those, because I know people are like, oh, that's the worst floss to use. Worse than Krynic. But yeah, there's tricks, right? There's tricks to make it a little more easy, and one of them is to just keep your lengths a little bit shorter. But again, look at these colors on the fabric. Isn't it a good choice? The red, the purples, and then yeah, this is like the cream, the whitey blue colors that will be in the bottom of her dress. So pretty. Very fun to kind of change it up, right? Like from what I was working on the last chart with the reds and the pinks, and now then I worked on some blues, purples. Super fun. Yeah, Ice Fairy. I have to thank Erica for getting this for me. She purchased it as the kit from like Facebook Marketplace or something. Somebody was selling this and she saw it. She was like, wait a minute, I need to get that for Samantha. I'm so thankful. This is really great. A lot of fun, hours and hours of good time stitching. This next design that I had chose to stitch on was a gift that I had received. This pattern is from Beth. She's a longtime viewer of my channel, and she's been very generous with some charts that I've added to my collection. And this was one that she had gifted me when it was my 2-year anniversary with Flosstube. I'm now up to 3 years, and at my 2nd year anniversary, she reached out to me and gifted me this beautiful butterfly fairy by Nora Corbett. And she is a big chart. Her stitch count is 199 by 226, and she reminds me, she's not technically a queen, but she reminds me of the size of many queens that Mirabilia have come out with. There's like, you know, the seasonal ones, the spring, winter, autumn, and then there's you know, holiday queen. There's even a mermaid queen. And to me, this is the fairy queen. She is butterfly fairy. I absolutely love her. But her, like, her face and her skin and her legs, her dress is a large stitch that I'm very excited to do. So last time you had seen this, I started it in the spring, and I had got too far on it. This is a 32 count. I believe it's the called for fabric. It is French Latte Linen by Witchelt. Country French Latte Linen. That's the full name. And I absolutely love working on this. And I had started in the middle, and I had done a little bit of her hair and face. And this time around, when I picked her up, I focused in on getting majority of her skin done. I have a little more work to do on her hand. But my big focus was to get some color into this chart and do, you know, a little bit of shape in her wing with the blues. And you'll see there's a little bit of start to her dress here, a little bit of pinks. It's really, really beautiful. She's gonna be a big one. She's gonna be a big one. I'm very excited to get a little more done on her next time and get some more color of her dress and those wings. Oh yeah, and one of the really amazing things about this chart, and I mentioned this many times with other charts that Nora has designed, is how she managed to get the see-through effect on her wings. So you can see in this chart her hair up front by her face, and then you can see the flowing behind the wing, and then a little bit more over here that kind of pops out past the wing, right? So back here you will see this is the one time that she'll have, I believe it's a totally different color in the wing that sort of represents the hair back here. That's going to be so fun to stitch. And yeah, I have some more work to do in her hair, and I wanted to get some of those stitching done in here, and then a little bit more up the top. That's going to be fun. And then get those colors, the shape of the wing in. That's one of my favorite parts to do. There is no Kreinik in this chart. It is all DMC, and 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors of beads. That's kind of exciting. I get in the mood for this, like where it's just like, I just wanna put this on my Q-snap and stitch, stitch, stitch. I don't wanna stop for nothing. You know, it's like you leave a little spot for a bead and you just keep going. And that's what I enjoy about stitching on a dress, is to get the colors going in there and just to get the movement of the design and stitch a ton. It's my favorite part. I'm sure you can relate. All right, so I have more works in progress to show you, but I'm going to take a little break and do the giveaway from my last video. I'm going to take it out of the package here. This is a design by Tammy, her new company called TP Makes. She's Canadian website, and she is a new up-and-coming designer, and she does many things. She does some chart design. She also does needle minders and bookmarks and gift tags and lots of creative things with her artwork. But this was her chart called Midnight Menagerie. Do you remember me showing this from the last video? Many of you had chimed in and said midnight was a secret word, and I have done the YouTube random comment picker. And the winner is, for this lovely chart, is Susan Thomas 8295. So congratulations, Susan. I'm gonna send this chart out to you. You can reach out to me by I've left an email in the description box. It's hugastitcher@gmail.com, and you can send me a quick message saying, here's my address for the Midnight Menagerie chart, and I'll send that right out to you. This is so cool. This was a chart that that Tammy had created. One of the coolest things about this chart is that it has the moon in the center with the glow-in-the-dark floss. So it glows in the dark. That's gonna be so fun to stitch. Congratulations, Susan. Maybe when you get your chart, me and you can do a little stitch along together. Or start along, right? And find some fabric and stitch this together. That'd be really fun. Okay, so that's that. And I wanted to talk about some stitchy kindness. I had 2 people over the last couple months reach out to me with some lavender and lace, some Told in the Garden, some Mirabilia charts, and had said, like, I'm not going to be able to stitch these in my lifetime, you know, I'm going to pass them along to you because you're, like, you know, I'm just starting to get into lavender and lace, and I'm allowing myself to have a collection. I used to be a stitcher who would, you know, stitch on one project, buy a chart, get the supplies, stitch on it till it's finished, and then move on to the next one. I would maybe have 3 projects on the go. And it would be because one was a Christmas one was a Halloween one, and then something that was just sort of year-round stitching. And that's how I used to stitch. And now I'm allowing myself to be like, you know what? It's okay to have a collection of charts, your beautiful charts that inspire you. I like to look through them and, you know, pick one. Like, okay, it's time to start this one. This one's giving me the most excitement to want to start. And so I have to thank Judy. She's a wonderful viewer, and she lives here in Winnipeg and shops at the store Lizzie B's. And one day she had come by and dropped off some charts for me. And they're all lavender and lace, told in the garden. So I'll start off, I want to show you. This one is called Grandfather's Barn. This is one of my favorite out of all of the designs here. There's quite a few, but this one, wow, I think that barn would be absolutely amazing to stitch. And look at the top where it has like it's almost like two chickens and the hearts up top here. That's really fun. And all the people. Love. Oh, I think that red barn would be really fun to stitch. And then there's grandmother's house. Same idea at the top with the two birds and the hearts. So this is almost like a set, right? You've got grandma, grandfather, and grandmother. Love. This one, Blueberry Homecoming. I'm sure you've seen these charts. Like these are from, some of them are from the 80s, some of them are from the 90s when she was creating these. This one is Told in the Garden number 22. I love this one with the blueberry bushes and the quilts in the background, that beautiful house. I want to live there. This would be really fun to stitch too. All of these would be amazing. I kind of want to get like a pegboard maybe on my wall here. I'm thinking about this, you know, because I want to create this space where I can have my cross stitch and display them and have a table where I can set up and film and stitch if I want to. But it'd be kind of cool to have like pegboard where I could hang, like almost like creating like a little shop in my basement, right? Where it's like, here's all my charts and here's the Krynic that comes on the cards. And I'm thinking about all these things that I could like potentially hang up. That'd be really fun to kind of sit here and look at and I want to start something. I want to start a Told in the Garden. Which one should I do? This one's Raspberry Homecoming. Same idea. This one's got a different barn in the background. Instead of the house, this one has a barn, the quilts, and the raspberry bushes. All the people. Beautiful. And this one is called The Quilting. And this is Told in the Garden number 1. This was the first chart she had come up with. And this one has a special meaning to me too. When I was first starting to get into cross stitch, my girlfriend Eric and I were, you know, getting into this world of cross stitch and figuring out how to do it and all the things. And Erica's mom had stitched this chart and had it framed and it was on the wall. And I remember walking by it all the time, right? And staring at it and thinking, wow, that's really beautiful. And one day I hope to stitch this. Simple. I feel like these charts are like, they're not complicated, you know, it's the simplest stitching, but at the end has a beautiful design. Love. Thank you so much, Judy, for this amazing gift. This one is a Lavender and Lace, 1991. This was a popular one. Lavender and Lace number 15. This was a popular chart that many stitchers have stitched. Beautiful colors. Like when I look at this chart, this photograph, I think of really fun stitching. Blocks of color. You know, you got, and not too big, like you've got wings, but they're not too big, you know? You've got the pink part of her dress, and then the greens and the golds and the colors at the back. You've got some ribbons. Like there's things that will break up this chart and be really fun to stitch. So that one's a good one. And I have a couple more from Judy that I'm not going to share with you in this video. I'm going to save it for the next one because they're more like holiday type charts. And yeah, I want to save them for the next video because I'm going to do sort of, I've started some holiday stitching. And so I want to do sort of like a holiday stitching video in early December. So look forward to that. But I'm going to save those charts to show you in the next video. So let's go to some more stitching. On the topic of lavender and lace, I have a chart here that I was, that I had started in August. Now this is lavender and lace, the spring angel. Now this is a chart that my best friend Erica, Fibers and Floss Canada, is stitching and is getting close to finishing, that she had started when we were teenagers. And I thought it would be really cool to stitch this chart too, and I had started it with her this summer. And here I am. Here's where I've gotten to. Look at those colors. So I had started in the center of the design, just like Erica had done way back when, and stitched some of those dark colors, the dark greens, and then got into the pinks. This is her hand here. I'll show you in the picture again. You can see her hand and the shape of her sleeve and those green colors and pink in the ribbon. Where I go to next, I'm not sure. I think probably moving over and getting some of the white into her dress and move down. Sort of move across the stitch, get the whites and then the pink ribbon on the other side. Really focus in on the middle of the stitch, and then one day move up to the top and get her face in there. Start the wings. This is going to be so fun to stitch. Now I'm trying to remember what fabric this is. It was close to what the chart had asked for, but not the exact color. I want to say Stony Point. Yeah, so the design had called for twilight blue linen, and I believe I went with Stony Point, I believe it's called. I wonder if I kept a tag. Oh, I did. Nope, I was wrong. It is a 32 count Smoky Pearl by, I believe it's Mrs. Weigert. And inside this bag, I have kept a couple of things that Erica had gifted me for my birthday. For one, it was this beautiful bag that she created. I love it. And I'm gonna keep the spring angel in here in this bag. Teresa Kogut fabric, so pretty. Love it. And then inside she had gifted me these little tiny scissors. You know, they kind of look like the Kohana scissors, the little tiny snips. Comes with a little tassel and the little sleeve that holds the scissors. Teeny tiny, so cute. I love that. They'll be actually kind of fun to use like when you're traveling. But I'm gonna keep these in the bag and use them when I'm working on this pattern. And she'd also gifted me this really cool, this one's called Stitched and Beaded Tassel Ornament. Rainbow teal tassel. Ooh, pretty colors. Very pretty. Little Mill Hill kit with everything you need to stitch this. It's done on perforated paper. Interesting. So you'd have to like stitch it on the paper and then create the ornament. Ooh, the tassel looks really fun. Okay, and then comes with the floss, all of the little gems. Ooh, this is gonna be fun. Something totally different. And I have yet to stitch with bugle beads. So that would be really fun to do. See the bugle beads in here and in the tassel. Oh, fun. Beautiful colors, right up my alley. So that will be something I can start soon. And inside the bag here, I've got all of my flosses for this chart. This is typically how I kit up a Mirabilia lavender lace. A lot of my projects actually is I use floss away bags. And over the last month or so, I have been thinking so much about this that I'm like, I don't know if it's time to make the change or not. But what's happening to me is I have a set of DMC floss, and it's not a full set. Like, it probably is if I were to combine everything together. I almost have every single color, but I have multiples. And what's happening is I get a chart, I kit it up, put them in the floss away bags, put it with the design. And then I know, like, oh, these colors, you know, the dye lot, and if there's some that have like 2 or 3 skeins, that sort of thing, I know I have like my set that I'm using for this pattern. And what's happening now is I've just got all these floss away bags in all of these different project bags. And I'm tempted to make the change to start working off of one master set of either floss away bags, or I don't know, do you have suggestions? Like, this is a hot topic, I feel like, with many stitchers. Like, how do you store your floss and how do you kit up your projects? And this is just the way I've always done it, but it's starting to get out of control because I just have so many colors in different project bags. And yeah, it just seems like a lot of floss. And what would it be like to work off one set? Some people bobbinate their floss and have like a container where they keep them all in and they work off of that, and then when they run out of a color they buy a new one, right? And that sort of thing. So I don't know, but this is how I do it so far. I might just continue keep on doing it this way, but I'm starting to think about, as I, you know, have growing collection of patterns, that maybe it might be time to change that up a little bit. We'll see. But I did have a ton of fun stitching on my Spring Angel lavender and lace. It's exciting. So there's that one. Okay, I have a couple more projects here. I'm gonna do one more with you, and no, I'll do them all, and then we'll go through some more Stitchy kindness. So this is a chart, my very first Heaven and Earth Designs full coverage. This is artwork by Amy Stewart. It's called Once Upon a Fairy Tale. Wow, look at the colors in here. This chart is right up my alley. It has everything I love. You know, there's like dragons and storybooks, and there's wizards, and there's the treasure and gold, and looks like Robin Hood, and there's knights. Oh, there's so much to this, and the colors are incredible. Very rainbow, really fun. So this is gonna be amazing. But also, like, probably the biggest challenge that I'll probably, like, Teresa Wentzler's are challenging, but I feel like this is a whole nother level of you know, type of stitching. So this is done on, I believe it is a 32 count even weave and gridded fabric. This was a gift from Sarah, Lady Lugana. She had wanted to share her start with me, and I'm sure I get to you wrong this way. She wanted to share her start with me, and so that I could get this experience of working on a full coverage piece. She loves doing them, and this one is, she's just had too many on the go, and she said this one, because of the design, everything I love, I needed this in my collection and to experience this. And so she had started, and what I've been doing is sort of, you know, going up to the top and finding a hole that is a color that hadn't been completed yet, and stitched as far as I could go with that color, and find another hole and keep going. So I did a lot of filling in here and more at the top. And these threads here that you see, these are ties that, you know, Sarah had made. And so it's a goal of mine to go through them and make sure that they're all stitched over and covered up on the back, and to keep going, get more colors in there. So this is the top left-hand corner. Did think about it. So we're stitching all up in here. That's a bookshelf. There's an owl there. There's a tree coming. Wow. This is a very big piece of fabric. This is the part that kind of like, whoa. And there's like room for like a 3-inch border. Like this is going to be massive, massive full coverage piece. That will be like, you know, 10 years down the road. Samantha might finish this. But that's okay because like I said, I really wanted to get that experience. There's a lot of full coverage stitchers out there that just love heaven and earth designs. And I wanted to like have one as a project on the go. And we'll see how long it takes me. I've got it written in my book of days when I started this project, and we'll see where it goes. This might be, you know, down the road, one of those projects like my oldest whip. That'll be this one day. All the colors in here, Sarah had gifted me the colors that she had purchased everything for this chart. And I'm keeping all of the floss in this bag. And as I go along in the chart and need a new color, I have it, it's ready to go. And there are multiples, like, remember I was telling you with like different dye lots and stuff, there are multiples of like 310. These belong with this project. Not gonna make any changes there. And then these are the colors, the ring of colors that are so far in this stitch. I believe this is a Heaven and Earth Designs that is 92 colors, I think. But those are the colors that are in there so far. Kind of incredible, isn't it? That little section with all of those colors in there. So that's my Heaven and Earth. Now, I'm starting to like follow Amy Stewart on Instagram. She does like some artwork that is, you know, charted at Heaven and Earth Designs, but she also has like, she does puzzles, right? Her artwork, I believe even this one, Once Upon a Fairy Tale, there's a puzzle. And so it kind of made me, you know, search around, and I went to Walmart one day and found that there are some Amy Stewart puzzles there. And so I grabbed one. And so far, like just looking at this picture, I believe there are people who have something similar with the mushrooms for a full coverage piece. But this one is called Merry Mushroom Village Picnic. Like, look at the colors in here. It's a 2,000 piece puzzle. But I plan to start this over the Christmas holiday. It's not a Christmas, I usually do like a Christmas puzzle. You know, have one out on the table and everybody comes over at certain parts of the day and put some pieces in, and then, you know, it's just kind of fun. So I've never done a 2,000 piece puzzle before, so I don't know how big it's gonna be. Is it gonna take my whole table? Probably, or are the pieces just really small? But look at these amazing colors. There's like fairies in there and mushroom, little village and a pond. Wow. So I wanted to show you this because I sort of together, like I've seen people on Instagram stitching a big jump. It might even be like this whole scene, I don't know. The jumbo mushroom that a couple people are working on Instagram and showing their progress from Heaven and Earth Designs. So I'm always on the hunt now. I kind of want to collect. I want to have I'm a collector. I love to collect things, and I want to have a little collection of Amy Stewart puzzles. And I have an Amy Stewart Heaven and Earth Designs full coverage piece to stitch on. So that's kind of fun, you know, to be able to enjoy those colors throughout the year. All right, so on to my last whip. This is Nora Corbett. This is a chart that I thought would be a perfect time to bring out for November. This is Poppy. It is Nora November, and there are many stitchers who are stitching on their Nora Corbett patterns over the month, and I'm doing the same. This is from the Pixie Couture collection, and this was the last pixie I needed for my set of 6. I was trying to do some colors of the rainbow, and this is my red pixie. And I don't have a lot of charts that have red in them, right? Like I have a lot of spring and summer, and you know, I do have some holiday ones, but nothing like this. I don't have a fairy that has those red colors in it. It's really fun. I'm very drawn to this one, and this is a very simple chart. Not a lot to her, you know, like it's mostly just the red backing, the red back of her dress, and the wing is simple to do. So here we go. Oh, I'm excited. I've been working on this for a week, and wow. Wow. So what I was able, last time you saw this, I was like here. I had sort of done this shape in her dress, and there was the whole bottom of her dress that needed to be done. And I just continued on, and same thing, it's like grab a color, stitch down, fill in this sort of like petal looking part of her dress. This was so fun to stitch. Oh my goodness. And I just kept going every time my daughter would look over and be like, oh wow, Mom, you're making great progress. And I had some holes like in the dress, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna fill in this little section here and you know, grab another color and fill in. She's like, okay. And then next thing you know, I'm doing the next leg of the dress, and down here too. I just kept going. I was having so much fun. I'm not done yet. There is still more to do on the bottom of her dress. So I'm missing like this part right here. So all that's left to do is that bottom part right here. All of the like little wisps with the Krynic floss and beads. And there's some white stitching that fill in her wing right here that I haven't done yet. And then all the back stitching on her skin. With these pixies, they don't have a face to them, but she always like puts a little kick for the eyelash, you know, like I love that. So yeah, just got to do some you know, get the eyelash in there and the shape around her skin. I've done the Krynic, most of it, just got to do the little wisps. It's gonna be fun to do. Isn't she beautiful? Wow. So close to finishing my collection. I have Bluebell, which is fully stitched, fully back stitched, and I'm halfway finished through beading it. I just have like one more like stitchy session, you know, where it's like, bring it out, I'm gonna finish it, and that'll be that. You know, move on to the next project sort of thing. So I'm very close to finishing Bluebell, and I would say I'm like 90% done this one. And I've already completed Tiger Lily, so that will be my 6 pixies. And Tiger Lily is my orange one. So, and Bluebell is blue. So yeah, that's gonna be fun one day to have that full set, all stitched and all framed. Wow, that was really the beginning of my love for Nora Corbett. I had started this green pixie right here, and I think she's called Marigold. Morning Glory, sorry, that didn't sound right. Morning Glory. And she was the very first Nora Corbett design that I had ever stitched. And you know, back then I remember seeing like every other month, you know, there was another pixie coming out, and I was like, I need to stitch them all. It's what started my obsession with you know, stitching fairies and things like that. And yeah, here I am. That was in 2008, 2009, somewhere in there. And now it's 2024 and I'm still stitching, still stitching them all. So it's gonna be quite an accomplishment to have them all done and to move on to the next set of, you know, there's so many. Nora Corbett has designed, like she typically will do like a set of 6. And it's like, you know, there's so many different sets of things. Like there's little, right now she's doing little dollhouse rooms. Very cool. She's like, there's a whole set of the 12 Days of Christmas. Boy, there's so many. If you're interested in taking a look, you can go to, you know, you can go on Facebook and look up Nora Corbett and look at all of her designs. There's so many of them. Or, you know, head to 123 Stitch and see which ones are available. There's so many different sets. Really, really fun. I like these because they're not too big. They're fun. Like if I were to just stitch on this, I could probably finish one of these in like a couple months, right? Like if you just stuck with one pattern, like from start to finish, couple months, maybe 3, you know, that sort of thing. But whereas like a big Mirabilia, those can take me, if I were to work on just one project at a time, like 4 months, 6 months kind of thing. They take a long time to do. These, they have a little bit of everything. You get Krynic, you get to stitch the skin, you get to stitch a dress. a wing, you know, that sort of thing, some hair, you get and beading and all the things. So it's like, you know, a mini. It's something where you could experience a mini project and have all of those different experiences of beading and kryonic and stitching all in one. Really, really fun to do. Okay, so those were my works in progress. And now I'm gonna jump back into some more Stitchy kindness. I have here, so a stack of charts to show you. I had a friend who lives here locally. She and I actually have, you know, a little bit of history together. Her name is Jennifer. And she, you know, our girls, when they were little, they went to kindergarten together and they went to dance together and they did Girl Guides together. And her and I, sometimes, once in a while, we would get together and stitch. Maybe like 3 or 4 times we got together at her house, my house, and we stitched a couple times. And she had a love for Mirabilia that kind of came from her mom. Her mom used to stitch, or still does, Mirabilia and lavender and lace and all of those, like in the 90s and the early 2000s. And the two of them, you know, have been Mirabilia stitchers. That's really fun. And that's sort of what, you know, I was like, whoa, I found somebody just like who stitches Mirabilia just like I do. That was incredible. And so that was a few years back that we had done that. And she's been following me on Instagram, and Jennifer has been following me on YouTube and watching my videos. And she had mentioned to her mom that I had this channel and she should watch and that sort of thing. And her mom had said, Karen had said, I have quite a collection that I am just not going to be able to get through. There's just no way in my lifetime I'm going to be able to stitch this. And she went through her collection and picked out her favorites, you know, favorite things that she just couldn't part with, right? Her favorite charts, maybe projects that she's still working on, that sort of thing. And then she gave her a collection to Jen, and Jen went through them and picked out her favorite charts. And then these are all charts that I can now add to my collection, which is really incredible. So I'm going to start going through them with you. Yeah, first up, I have gone through these and sort of organized them a little bit. This is actually a Butternut Road. This is Butternut Road #1. I'll take it out of the picture out of the package. A lot of these have the packages haven't been opened, but this one had been. And so I'll take it out and show it to you. I have seen this framed and stitched. I believe Erica's mom's sister has this framed. So Erica's aunt has this framed and stitched on her wall. I've seen it in pictures and things like that and been like, oh, that's a good one. The colors on here are so good. This is actually the first chart I'm showing you and probably one of my favorites out of this whole set that I am going, like, I think if I were to put them in order of how I want to stitch them, I think this one needs to go to the top of the pile. I just see the colors in this and how much fun this dress would be to stitch with the different colors. Like you've got the red and then the creams and yellow, the navy blue. I mean, to stitch some goose, and there's a chicken in there. Look at that. This is beautiful. And a little bit of scenery in the background too. So this is super fun. Butternut Road, very first design. Thank you so much, Karen. This is incredible. Oh, I'm just excited to like add this to my collection and be able to go through them and be like, oh, what do I want to stitch? These are quite popular. This one is the autumn chart. This one's called Celtic Autumn. Celtic Autumn. How do you say that? Lavender and lace. Very popular chart. And this one is the summer one. You've seen these. Very popular. I think these would be very enjoyable to stitch. Stitchin' Mommy. Do you guys follow Stitchin' Mommy? She's done a really unique take on these where she's taken all 4 charts and created a square into 4, and she's stitching just like, I believe it's the faces and a little bit of the dress. It's very cool what she's done. Very inspiring. But anyways, you know, these would be great to add to my collection to stitch one day. And this one is adorable. It's called Emma's Garden, Lavender and Lace 49. Yep, I'm gonna want to stitch that one day. This sort of reminds me of something you'd want to stitch your like granddaughter one day or something. Sort of like for like a baby announcement or something like that. I love this. I love the flowers. I love the little girl, the lace detailing at the bottom. That's all cross stitch with some back stitching, I believe. That's stunning. Wow. And this chart, I've been drawn to this one many times. I've seen it and been like, ooh, the colors on this one are good. This is called Fairy Dreams. Look at the pinks in there. And I believe I've seen people stitch this and like her hands and face are 1/1, which I've never done before. But I believe in these charts it shows 2 options, stitching it 1/1 or like normal 2/2. But I've seen people stitch this 1/1. Incredible. But the colors in here are so fantastic. The wing is amazing. And there looks like there's going to be lots of sparkle in this one, lots of beads. Oh yeah, that's right up my alley. This is something I haven't seen before, I don't think. This is an oldie. This is Queen Anne's Lace, Lavender and Lace number 34. Sometimes they even show like what year. I don't see a year on this one, but I would imagine early 90s. Wow. This one looks a little more complicated just because of the backing, like the backdrop, like it's like a full coverage piece. And I can see through her dress, like, you know, the different colors, but see all these little, those are all beads, like holes that you would leave as you're stitching, spaces you would leave for beads, and there's a lot in there. But still pretty epic. Okay, here's a bride, Ivy Wed. Never done that before. That was a lot of white, but incredible. Add it to my collection. Okay, Nantucket Rose, Lavender and Lace number 20. I actually have this one. I've never stitched it, but I have this piece that was found at a thrift store. And I have recently actually taken it, like it was laced onto a board, and I had taken it off and gave it a bath. It was very dirty, dusty. So I've given it a bath, and now it's hanging in my collection with my stitching because I want to reframe this. It's beautiful. Wow. I'm happy to have the chart. Maybe one day I will stitch it, but I'm at this point adding it to my collection. This one here too is so beautiful. It's called Morning Song. It's been open, so I'll take it out of the plastic. Look at this. A mother with 2 children. Again, beautiful backdrop, like the autumn, almost like autumn colors in the background. Wow. You would have the little baby dress and the little girl dress, and then beautiful. Like a full coverage. Let's put that back in here. This one is called Little Wings. It's from 1989. Cute. That dress, those green colors. And how cool is this? It's like a little scene, you know, with the little birdhouse and the little girl. I love these. 1989. Wow. Okay, this one is incredible. 1988. It's called Lady of the Thread. I don't think I'd ever seen this chart before. You've got like a wreath around you, right? This big wreath. The dress. She's holding a hoop and thread. This is beautiful. I love this. Lady of the Thread. I like looking at the prices from back when. This one is $8.29. You know, nowadays it's not $8. Who knows when this was purchased, you know, like this could have been, you know, from 1988, but purchased in 1996, you know, like, I don't know. But that kind of fascinates me where the prices were. This is not a lavender and lace and not a Mirabilia. This is, I actually don't know how to pronounce the designer. I believe it's Italian. But this, I kind of placed it in this spot because, you know, just after Lady of the Thread, this one is a beautiful dress, a beautiful girl, and she's stitching. It is Italian style in counted cross-stitch designs. It's called Romantic Time. Romantic Stitcher. Yep. When Jen came over to show me all the charts, she was like, oh, I didn't realize that one was in there. It's, you know, I thought maybe it was a lavender and lace because it's very much like, you know, fits right in with all of those charts. She's like, my mom must have bought this with, like, you know, wanting to stitch a beautiful dress. This is gorgeous. I want to stitch this. She's got a hoop and fabric, the basket with all of her supplies in there. She's sitting on a bench with a big, beautiful dress. Like, oh, that's me. Stitching away. I love this. Yeah, and it seems really old. It's from the year 2000, somewhere in there. The chart looks really interesting. This has me interested, the Romantic Stitcher. That's fun. Okay, the next one I'm gonna have to insert a picture because there's no picture for this one. But when I open this up, it's a huge, like all of them, the Mirabilia charts kind of open up, and they're big pieces of paper that you kind of have to fold and that sort of thing. I use a magnetic board to stitch off of. And this is a huge chart. It's called Blooming Bride. Like when you open it up, it's humongous. And I've never really, like, I've seen this chart online a few times, that sort of thing. Never really thought to myself that I'd want to stitch it, but seeing this chart in person, I was like, oh yeah, I want to stitch this one. This is going up to the, you know, higher up on the list of must stitch. Samantha, must stitch this one. It's beautiful. So I've inserted a picture so you can see what it looks like. Thankful to add that into my collection. This one's called April's Blue Diamond by Mirabilia, MD45. Stunning. It says on the back it was first in Nora's Year of the Fairies collection. The Blue Diamond Fairy is an elegant tribute. The month of April. Wow. Lots of beads on this one. There's a couple of Krynics, but like 1, 2, 3, there's like 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's like 5 different treasures and like 5 different beads all through this. Those roses are so pretty too. I bet her dress is really fun to stitch. The wings, this is up my alley. This is up my alley. And this one too, I love this one. It's called The Scent of Roses, MD54. Wow. The colors on this one, the simplicity, but the colors, it says here stitched on laurel linen, which I have been dying to purchase so that I could stitch on it. I love the color, and I think those colors would like just be incredible on the laurel linen, just like you see here. Wow. Must stitch. This one's so cute. Under the Friendship Tree, MD32. What do you think of this? That's so cute. I want to stitch this one Maybe not right now, but one day. I kind of just envision like some patterns like this. I see myself like hanging on to, having in the collection for a long time. And maybe one day if I ever become a grandmother, I'm gonna want to stitch something like this. I love it. Okay, this one here, English Roses, MD14, 1995. This one's really cool because it has a little bit of like embroidery in it. Like the roses that are stitched in here, they're done with like a ribbon. It's YLI silk ribbon. There's 4 different colors in there. Erica knows how to do those. I'd have to be like, Erica, what am I doing? I need to sit beside you and you can teach me how to do this. But this is beautiful. I could stitch it on my own. Yeah, that one's gorgeous. Beautiful. Okay, and here's a queen. This is, remember I was talking earlier about how the big Mirabilias. This is Spring Queen. She is 180 by 278. I love this one. I know Sarah, Lady Lugana, is stitching this. Also, there is a Winnipeg stitcher who recently just finished this last year, and she shared it in our Facebook group that we have going. And she had stitched it on the most amazing fabric where it was like scenery in the background, so it looked like she was sitting out in a field, and just gorgeous. If you are on the Mirabilia, is it called Mira on the Wall Facebook group page, if you look up Spring Queen, you'll see her. Like, you can't miss it because it's just so different from anything you've ever seen before, right? With that beautiful fabric in the background. It's quite incredible. So yeah, that's up there for me. I've never stitched a queen before. That one's fun. This one is called The Rose of Sharon, 1994. These are probably, some of these are out of print, I would imagine, because these are the old charts. So I'm very excited to add these to my collection. And when I was going through these with my daughter, my youngest daughter, she saw all of the, and this one was her favorite out of all of them. It really surprised me. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to stitch it for you then. You know, when one of your children say they love something, you're like, okay, I gotta do it. Yeah, this is pretty. There's a face at the top, you know, there's the archway, and then at the very top, it's almost like a sculpture of a face in the center there. Wow. Okay, next, Ashley's Roses, MD number 40. I've seen people stitch this. This is incredible. I believe Amy, Fiber Arts Amy, has this as a whip. Who else is stitching this? Stitching Mommy? Maybe? I think she has that. Beautiful. Love. Here's another one. These are all the roses charts and flowers. This one's called Rose Arbor, MD 48. Same thing, you got the archway of the flowers on top, 2 like pots with flowers in them. Beautiful dress. Whoa. This one's stitched on a natural linen. Interesting. Love that one too. I could see myself stitching this one. This one is called Savannah's Curtsy, MD 36. It says welcome up at the top. It's like she's on a dance floor. This one, there's a few of them that kind of like the dress style. It's like, what's that one with the autumn, with the girl on the swing? I can't remember what that one's called, but it kind of like the dress, the way that it's designed with the ruffles reminds me of that. And there was another one in here that was very similar with the girls' dresses, right? It's just a similar style and I really like them. Savannah's Curtsy. Okay, this one I had never seen before. It's called Angel of a New Dawn, MD 65, 2002. Ooh, this is good. I don't have many charts that are like, that have sort of like a scenery to them. Makes it interesting. And I don't have many angels. Just starting to get into the angel. You know, I've been stitching fairies and mermaids for such a long time. So it's time to branch out. Stitch an angel. Stitch a little girl. This one's cool too. The Seaside Kingdom, MD 51. Came out in the year 2000. It's the beach scene with the sand castle, the two children. So pretty. Okay, and the last one I'm going to share with you today is called Crescent Dreams. And it's like called Little Stitches. This was sort of like that collection of like baby charts, which would be so adorable as a birthing sampler. You could, they actually give you two options on here. If you wanted to do a pink blanket or a blue blanket, you could switch the color combo on there. That is so cute. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So there are more, but like I had said, I'm going to save them for my next video. I have some sort of like wintry, holiday kind of charts. So I'm gonna save those for the next video to kind of break it up a little bit, but those are the new additions to my Stitchy collection. I'm absolutely thrilled about this. Thank you so much, Jennifer and your mom, Karen. This was such a special gift. And as well, special thank you to Judy for reaching out to me and passing along your collection to me. It's amazing. I'm so thrilled. Like I said, I'm so thrilled to be able to add these and to be able to, throughout the years, bring out new charts and stitch on these amazing patterns. Incredible. Thank you so much. And I think that's it for today. I will be back early December, do like a holiday video. I've already started some holiday stitching that I'm dying to show you. Some new starts, you know, bringing out some of my dimensions kits and things like that, because I have like a stocking and, you know, for the month of December, I'm planning some new starts. So it's gonna be a really fun episode. I'll be back soon. I hope you had a good time visiting with me today. I'll see you again soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.